So that's a beautiful track there by the very fabulous Ray Charles, brought in by Nick Tolhurst, because he couldn't get a bit of an earworm, Nick, and now he's in the studio.
Well, thank you very much, Philippi. I couldn't get it out of my head, so I thought the only way to get it out of my head is to listen to it. Thank you very much for indulging me.
Oh, we all love Ray Charles. And, of course, as always, Kate Herbert is in the hot seat. She's going to tell us all about some fabulous shows, including Sister Act.
Yeah,
Good morning,
I am.
Kate.
Morning, and I understand you've seen it too, Nick.
I went to opening night. Well, you would have been there.
Yeah, I didn't see you. We
No,
should have waved at each
I
other.
just-
Although
Maybe you
people
don't
were-
like each other. Maybe Nick doesn't like you, Kate.
No,
Maybe he was
she probably
pretending.
gets the posh seats, so.
No, I always sit on the aisle. I like to be on the aisle for, quick escape and not feeling claustrophobic, so all of that. So I think, both enjoyed it. Would I say
Yeah,
that?
it is.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a slow start.
Yeah,
but it just sets
does.
up the story. And if you've seen the film, you're sort of waiting to think, well, when's this bit going to happen? When's that? But once Casey Donovan starts revving up, and once the nuns get going,
Yeah.
it's just such fun. And
It is fun.
It's not all the music's original, I think, for it.
Yeah, this is, whereas the movie was not. So for those who don't remember, Sister Act was a feel-good movie, and it's a feel-good musical. It's based on the 1992 film, which was, the beginning of which was set in 1968, when the lead character, Dolores Van Cartier, was a school kid, and then it shifts to 1992. Now, I have to do a little aside here. I was in San Francisco when it was being filmed.
Oh.
I was there for several months, 1990, I think it was, that it was being filmed, and I used to catch the bus outside that church, and it was all decked out like a 60s sort of street, like Haight-Ashbury, so there were VWs and combi vans and hippies all over the place. So I was rather attached to that film. And that was Whoopi Goldberg and Maggie Smith, two of my faves.
It was a fun film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I do an aside?
Yeah.
We had a chicken called Dolores.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did
She died. But anyway, over to you.
Well,
Yes.
this Dolores nearly dies. So the story goes, essentially it's a rollicking sort of musical romp, isn't it? It pokes fun at nuns. I went to a Catholic convent for 13 years. So
Okay, hands
Catholic
up all
church,
over the place.
everybody,
Yeah,
all of us. Dangerous gangsters, Catholic church, and a low-level sort of wannabe lounge singer, I suppose she is. And that's Dolores Van Cartier, which is a rather odd mix of names, sort of Dutch and French. So this has, as you say, original songs and music by Alan Menken and lyrics by Glenn Slater and a couple called Steinkeller who wrote the book. So it replicates the 2022 West End production, which followed an earlier original production of the musical 2009 and 2011. But it's set now in 1977, which is different, and it changes the style of the music, doesn't it? Because although they used known tracks in the movie, these original songs are 70s.
Yeah, it's got a lot of disco feel and stuff.
A lot of disco and some
It gives them an
R&B.
excuse to use lots of glitz and mirror balls and
Absolutely.
ridiculous
The lounge
costumes.
the costumes are hilarious. It changes the style of music, the costumes, the language, the cultural references, etc. So Casey Donovan, if anyone doesn't remember, she won Australian Idol when she was 16.
Yeah, I think first time winner.
Yeah. She's sassy and brazen and audacious as Dolores, who's the try-hard minor league lounge singer. She relies on the support of her gangster boyfriend, Curtis, who owns a nightclub she sings in, and then she witnesses him murdering somebody who's a witness in his trial. So she gets hidden away by a cop who used to go to school with her who had a crush on her in a convent. Of all places,
And then it
for a
all
lounge.
happens,
and
yes.
then the action starts.
Yes.
All that setup is a bit slow, and then it starts flying.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
but it really does fly. And what I really liked, I was watching thinking, on stage there are 12 women. Okay, they're dressed as nuns, but 12 women in this incredibly strong cast, and it's all focused on them.
Yeah, it is.
Or 12,
absolutely.
13, I was counting them with. But anyway, yeah, it's an unusual musical in that respect.
Very unusual, and it's got the Sister Mary Lazarus, who reminded me of my old teacher, Mother Leonard, is Rhonda Birchmore.
Yes.
And she
That was a
is
surprise.
Right, it was a surprise. And she was in the same play, often because she does solo work, in her own shows. She often stands out as though she's working in a slightly different style, but she wasn't. She was right in there with them, and she was a riot. And Dolores becomes Sister Mary Clarence. And they're all a bit sort of stunned about, who is she and where she come from. And the first time she hears them sing, is that not one of the funniest bad singing
It's
scenes?
wonderfully bad,
the
yes.
nuns
Yes.
singing so out of tune. And it's quite hard when you're a singer
It
to
is,
sing out of
yes.
tune. Do you remember, I can carry a tune in a bucket, but still I'm on the stage. It's from Little Me, I think, and it's very hard to sing that badly.
Badly, yes. Thank you. You did a very nice job of singing it well.
Tried not to. So the tuneless nuns, there's sort of, it leads into sort of funky, all dancing, all singing, funny, nunny entertainment. Donovan is, I reckon, magnetic, and it's a very vivacious and spirited performance, and it showcases that powerful voice. Have you seen it, Philippa? Get a look at it.
Yeah.
Versatile, excellent
Yeah,
control,
she can
great
move.
range. She belts. She's just
Good comic
was-
timing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And there are lots of other delicious nuns as well. The sort of Mother Superior Genevieve Lemon, Sophie Montague as the sweet sort of Sister Mary Robert, Bianca
yes.
Bruce as Sister Mary Patrick, who's the loud bolshy one.
Yeah.
Well, she's not as bolshy in this as she was in the movie, but yeah, R&B, funk and gospel, and lots
there's
of clever
there were some
lyrics.
nice little asides in the script as well, which the audience didn't quite get.
Asides for
Just little comments that the old demented. Oh, I won't repeat it because it's a bit rude. The one comment she made, but there's some funny little jokes which just went
straight past most
yeah.
of the audience. And there were some things I laughed at that nobody else got. Maybe it was Catholic school
I
stuff
think
or
it
something.
was, yes.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Anyway, so where is it on?
It is on at the Regent. Pretty beautiful Regent until, from what I can see, at present until 26th of January, so right up to Australia Day.
No, look, it's really worth a look in. I
Yeah.
reckon.
Oh, one of the other favourites, just a little addition, is that idiot, the trio of gangsters
Oh, yes,
singing
yes.
how they're going to woo a nun, or should we say seduce a nun. That is really funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get a look at that.
And the other thing too is, I shouldn't go. The other thing is that the dancers on stage, they're not all sort of glam straight out of. They're
No.
just all sorts of body shapes,
Yeah.
all sorts of very ordinary looking people. But boy, they can move.
They can
And I
move.
think Melbourne, maybe it's an Australian thing or a Melbourne thing. The way we can find talent like this is just extraordinary.
Well, in a small population, as we are comparatively, it is amazing.
That very
if you can
big,
cast.
tall Samoan person.
Yes, the
I don't
Samoan
know
guy
who that
was
was.
playing an altar boy and then a drag queen and a few
But
other
he's
things.
about 7 foot tall.
Yeah, he was extraordinary.
He was good, yeah.
Great, yeah, some great sort of chorus dancers.
All right.
All right, so yes, we could talk for ages about that, but we won't. We've got a couple of others to go.
However,
We'll play a little track.
Here we go.
Nick Tolhurst, you have made us the coolest radio station today. That was called that way by Spacious Couch on the City Tunnel Vision. Over, back to you, Kate.
Spacious couch.
Yeah.
I'd like to call something that.
I just liked the name. I thought, well, it's fine music and jazz. That's what 3MBS is about, and theatre and musicals. So,
Yes, indeed.
what's your next one?
All musicals today, in fact. This one is Peter and the Starcatcher.
Is it a
which-
kids' show?
Well, it's a family show, but it's got sort of adult comedians and some adult humour. But all those family shows do have, because the adults go ha ha ha, and the kids just laugh when their pants fall off or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
that sort of thing. Like the Shakespeare and not Shakespeare in the Park, the Wind in the Willows and things like that. But it's based on, it's an origin story of Peter Pan. Now, Peter Pan was my favourite book as a child. I've still got it, dog-eared and falling to pieces. And this is a play with music and songs and a whole lot of silliness. It is silliness,
Like
squared.
panto sort of stuff?
Yeah, kind of panto. Not quite panto, but they do panto Peter Pan in England, don't they? So it's based on a book that is the origin story, which is a novel written by David Barry and Ridley Pearson, English, I think. And it features, the book is written by Rick Elise, who wrote the book for Jersey Boys, which is, again, one of my favourite musicals. It features music by Wayne Barker and a motley cast of actors and comedians playing multiple roles, and they're sort of a mix and match sort of cast. So there's no sort of coherent sense of what style this cast is. Dead Puppet Society, Australian visual theatre company, David Morton, he's designed and directed it. So they've taken the version that was done in the UK, I think it was the UK, and he's made it a completely different show. It was very stripped down.
Did you like it?
I liked the second half of it. The first half, it drags a bit. It relies a lot on people stepping out and narrating bits of the story. It was a bit confusing. Everyone seemed to be in a different kind
What
of
did the
performance.
kids, they cope with that?
The
Were
kids,
the-
yeah, there weren't a lot of kids there that night. They called out a few things, like, they call out, the glass is empty, that sort of thing. But lots of comic ad-libs, demented song lyrics and idiotic rhymes and comic ad-libs and interactions, playful interactions with the audience, particularly in the second half. Amazing costumes in the second half of mad people who've turned into mermaids and prawn people and things
Oh,
like that.
gorgy.
It's really weird. But look, it's got Colin Lane as Captain Hook predecessor was my fave.
Good. So worth seeing?
For a family
Yes.
show, I think it's worth seeing. It's not exceptional, but it's fun.
Good. Now, the next one's contentious. It's getting very mixed reviews.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the mixed ones, am I not? My Brilliant Career, and again, based on a novel, the Miles Franklin 1901 novel of the same name, and there's a Judy Davis movie that I saw in the 70s.
Yeah.
Book by Dean Bryant, who and Sheridan Harbridge, who was an actor in Prima
good
Facie.
creds, yeah.
Good creds. Music by Matthew Frank, who
Also
works
good
always
cred,
with
yes,
Dean
yeah.
Bryant. In Melbourne Theatre Company. It is, and it runs until 18th of December, in case I forget. Carla Gare, who plays Sibylla Melvin, who's the lead character, was Anne Boleyn in Six the Musical. She is a rocket. She is exuberant and vibrant and vivacious and bold and audacious and compelling the whole way through. She just goes
Does
from
she
beginning
carry
to
it?
end. She carries it. Not that there are great performers. It's a wonderful eclectic music, but wonderfully multi-skilled actors who are musicians as well. They're all
So
playing
where does it
music.
sort of fall down for you?
I think it becomes a bit repetitive and it starts to spin its wheels at the end. And there are some really good songs and also lovely performances, but it just doesn't hit its stride.
But still
And
worth seeing?
I think it's worth
All
seeing.
right.
And it's a new Australian musical, and I have
Give
to
it a
say
go.
I encourage everybody to go see it because I'm sure it will grow a bit after that.
Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you very much, dear listener, for joining us.